Hey, yo, what up, though, fellas? Back at it again with another video. Because, we improving every day. Today, man, we going to talk about how your intellect, your intellectual capacity, your intelligence does matter when talking to women, bro. What you have in your brain, the things you know, the things you read, the things you study, the things you watch, the things you listen to, your interests, the knowledge that you consume and apply to life, that you know how to talk about, will help you when you talk to women. There's this notion that, all you have to do to get women is just be a Pookie and Ray Ray or a Chad or a Tyrone. All you got to do is have all these muscles and be sexually attractive, and that's it. Sexually attractive, physically speaking. That's all you need. That's what a lot of guys say. A lot of guys, and this often comes from the crowd that identifies as educated lames. A lot of the educated lames try to claim that, women don't like smart dudes and women don't like intellectual men. All women like is dudes that's gonna knock them up and leave them and, cheat on them with their sister. All this kind of BS, right? And I'm here to say, if you want to be a well-rounded man, if you want to be attractive in all aspects, if you want to attract quality women, then being intellectual to some degree does play a factor. And why is that? Being intellectual, knowing things of interest, having a bank of knowledge in the back of your mind that you can pull out and, elaborate on at any given moment. That matters because to a woman, really to anybody, but to a woman especially, that shows that you have the discipline and the hunger for knowledge. You have the hunger to acquire knowledge, and you have the discipline to sit down and learn things on your own. Excuse me. Or that you have the discipline to sit and, allow things to be taught to you. It shows that you venture out to learn things that, you may not need to succeed in life, or things that you may not need to successfully navigate life. But it shows that you have a want just to know, just to have as much knowledge as you can. And it shows that you have interest. It shows that you have a life. And that's sexy to women, bro. That is sexy to women. Despite what anybody else will tell you. You know what I'm saying? If a woman looks at you and she finds you sexually attractive physically, and you can uphold a conversation and even pull something out the back of your mind that you can just talk about, and you can talk about it with charisma, you don't just sound like a bunch of text punched into Google Translate, and you just sound like a robot. This is something that makes you excited, something that you're passionate about. You can talk about this with charisma and energy. You can make her interested. Even though she's not interested in the topic, she could have zero care in the world for what you're talking about, but she will be drawn into the charisma and the energy and the passion that you put behind what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? You can be talking about the history of, molding cups, or like the history of audio hardware. Like, it don't even matter what it is. If it's something that you can talk about passionately, then that will be attractive to a woman to just hear you talk about it. And obviously, I'm not talking about it for hours. I'm not saying you need to, that's all you're going to be talking about when you out with her having conversation. But if it's something that, if it's something that came across in conversation somehow, or she just asked you about something that you was interested in, and you were able to bring it up and talk about it for, 2, 3, 4 minutes, 5 minutes with vigor and charisma, and she can ask you questions here and there, just so just because she wants to keep hearing you speak, that will draw her in even more. That's why one thing I say when a lot of guys ask me, how do I increase my conversation skills? Not just with women, but with anybody. one of my recommendations is to read more. You know what I'm saying? One of my recommendations is to read more, because there's a link between having knowledge in your brain and the speed at which your brain can compute. You understand me? As you use your brain more and more, because we all know the brain is like a muscle. As you use it more and more, it will become more efficient. The more you read, the more knowledge that you take in, the more efficient your brain will become at computing conversational chunks. You understand what I'm saying? You'll be quicker on your feet when it comes to having conversation. You understand? And I'm not saying reading is the only thing you should do to increase your conversational skills. I'm just saying that it's something that'll help, you know, on top of literally just conversing with people more. Read more, acquire more knowledge. And also what that does is, if something happens to be brought up in conversation, or say y'all see something in the distance, or say y'all are in a bar or something, or in a restaurant with a TV and something pops up, something that you know about, you can talk about it, bro. You can talk about it, and you will have energy behind it and excitement behind it. You know, for me, that would be something like working out, or the topic of emotional intelligence or body language, you know, or even if it's not like academia stuff, like sneakers, fashion, streetwear. I'm very knowledgeable, hip, and interested in those things. You know, I could talk about sneakers for hours, because I tell y'all all the time, I'm a former sneakerhead. You know, I still love sneakers. I just don't buy them like I used to, because the sneakerhead culture is pretty much dead at this point. But I'm a former sneakerhead, and so I can talk about sneakers for hours. I used to be very interested in streetwear and high-end streetwear. I could talk about fashion for hours, bro. You know what I'm saying? These are things that get me excited. I could talk about working out for hours, powerlifting, strongman. I could talk about deadlift technique for an hour if I wanted to. You know what I'm saying? And so that's one thing that'll really, you know, be a good conversational piece, is if you work out and you actually know what you're talking about. You actually have knowledge on what it takes to get in shape. You know what I'm saying? You'll be surprised that, you know, just based off my appearance alone, right? You know, because I'm a pretty muscular dude. In the summertime, of course, so I'm wearing a lot of tank tops, short sleeves, you know, slim fitting clothing. You'll be surprised at how often, you know, chicks will randomly ask something like, oh, do you count your calories? Or how many calories do you eat a day? Or, you know, how many times a week do you work out? What kind of workouts do you do? Like, they'll just ask it. Even if I never spoke to them before, don't know them, they'll just ask it. And then, you know, I could give my answer. When they say, how many calories do you eat a day? I could say, you know, right now I'm in a maintenance phase. So I'm in between 24 and 2,600 calories a day. It depends on what kind of phase I'm in. And then they can go, oh, what do you mean by phase? What is that like when guys go bulking and cutting and stuff, when you get shredded? I'm like, yeah, when I bulk, you know, I'm usually, depending on if I'm powerlifting or if I'm doing more of a bodybuilding block, or if I'm doing a calisthenics block. If I'm doing a powerlifting block, I'm eating between, you know, 36 and 3,800 calories a day if I'm bulking. And then I can go on and on. And you can see it in their eyes when they just listening to you talk about something that they might not even really care about. It's just the fact that you know, the fact that you're confident in talking about this, especially if it can be beneficial. Like, that's why I brought up working out. If you're knowledgeable on fitness, health and fitness, exercise, training, something that can actually benefit her, because y'all know how women are. When women don't have somebody to keep them accountable, they'll just go off and on when it comes to exercise, and they eating healthy. You know, they eat healthy for 3 days and then have a stressful day and throw all of it out the window. You know what I'm saying? So if you a man and you can talk about this, and she can tell that you might be able to teach her something, that you have value in that aspect, if nothing else, even if they know nothing else about you, just off asking a few questions, they know, oh, this man has immense value when it comes to, you know, training and being healthy and being fit. You know, that's very attractive to me. I find that very sexy. Women find that very sexy in men. When you look good and you're articulate and you're intellectual, you know, you don't gotta be Albert Einstein. Just have some smarts about you. Just have some knowledge. You know, just know something that everybody else isn't. You know, everybody know 2 + 2 is 4. Everybody know 2 + 2 is 4. Tell her something different. Talk about something different. Have some hobbies and interests that really just get you excited. That really just get you fired up. And that will help your standards with women. You know, a lot of guys have the look piece down. A lot of guys, you know, they in shape. You know, women find their faces attractive, their bodies attractive, you know. But a lot of guys fail when it comes to the speaking part. When it comes to sitting down and having a conversation. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to getting to know her. And when she's getting to know you. A lot of guys fail at that part because they don't know what to say. They don't have much to say. So not having much to say and not knowing what to say is a setup for failure. So that's the topic for the day, man. One thing that'll greatly help you in conversing with women is having knowledge, being intellectual, man. Having topics in the Rolodex of your mind that you can just pull out, whip out, and just talk about. You know, 3, 4, 5, 6 minutes. She can ask you questions and you know the answers to them. So that's the topic for the day, man. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Peace.